Hey, so I just got home from seeing Spider-Man Far From Home and I loved it. It was ultimate, it was superior, it was amazing, it was other Spider-Man titles. Yeah, and so I just wanted to talk about the movie, do a bit of a review, obviously, but I'm just going to skip the non-spoiler stuff because there's plenty of those out there already. If you want to see non-spoiler stuff, search for it. Pretty easy to find. But I just wanted to talk about a few things that I was really excited about, some of the stuff that I really love, and it's really hard to tiptoe around some of the details without being way too vague. So yeah, this is a spoiler review. Be aware. Watch out. If you haven't seen it, get the fuck out of here. J.K. Simmons is back as J. Jonah Jameson. I couldn't believe my eyes. Like, I couldn't believe that I didn't get spoiled for something that's kind of that big a deal for the fans and everything. This was such an exciting moment for me, seeing him back on screen. I was actually kind of expecting it a little bit when it was starting to show the news, but I didn't think they were really gonna do it. But there he was. I had an audible reaction. I was very excited. I was like, what? It was quite a cool cinematic moment for me. And although the cinema wasn't packed, because I saw it first thing in the morning, there was still quite a lot of people reacting to it and everything. It was clearly an exciting moment for a bunch of people. I'm just excited that he's back. I hope that this wasn't just a one-time kind of fun little Easter egg type of thing. I really hope he's in future movies. I don't think that they would have included him if it wasn't from here on out, because that's not like the MCU style. Usually they stick to things that they establish, and it seems like they're establishing this character being back, and I'm very excited for that. Anyway, Spider-Man Far From Home obviously tells the story of Spider-Man. You know this. This is spoiler discussion. And he's going to different places. Yep, he's far from home, dare I say. So something that I loved about this movie was the villain. Mysterio was a character that I've wanted to see since I was like 6, 7, something. I don't know. I've absolutely fell in love with that character ever since I played Spider-Man 2. Ever since I've really wanted to see him in a movie, but I didn't really think that it was going to happen. And here he was, and he was perfect. Okay? He was just as petty as I wanted him to be. He was just as much of a fake ass illusionist guy as I wanted him to be. There were some very cool sequences that were like these dream kind of weird hallucinogenic type of situations going on, and that was very cool. That is exactly what I wanted to see. He was awesome, he was petty, he was badass, he was very likable and convincing and charming. That's because of Jake Gyllenhaal, literally my favorite actor. And yeah, so he was awesome. And it wasn't quite a shock that he betrayed Spider-Man and everyone. I saw that coming a million miles away. You know, this is obviously a very established villain of Spider-Man. So if you know anything about Spider-Man and his villains and stuff, you saw that coming. That wasn't a surprise at all. But it was still really fun to see where it went, and it was believable in the way that it kind of played out. But one thing that he did also in the mid-credits scene is that he outed Peter Parker as Spider-Man. He not only that, but he framed him for like his own shit that he did. So that's gonna be a really interesting angle for the next few movies to tackle. You know, the whole secret identity thing is out the window now. That's not gonna be an applicant anymore. It doesn't matter, which is kind of cool. It's a new thing for Spider-Man. I'm pretty excited to see where that goes. I could kind of see it coming because, you know, the MCU and everything don't really deal with secret identities very much. So yeah, it's kind of cool that Spider-Man's now going to be leaning into that aspect of this franchise. Another thing that I liked about this movie was Peter Parker's relationship with MJ. I didn't really like MJ in Homecoming that much. I thought that she seemed really disinterested and just didn't really care about anything. Didn't come off as super genuine as a character, but in this, she was likable, and I kind of rooted for them to, you know, be together and shit. And, you know, it plays out exactly how you expect. Like, it's a teenage romance type of thing, but I don't know, it's nice and charming, and probably one of my favorite aspects of the movie, to be honest. Everything looks pretty damn fantastic. All of the CGI and all that shit works. There's like maybe one or two things there that you can maybe pick out. There's this one thing sticking in my mind where Tom Holland is leaping off some poles over some water. It looked a little funny to me, but I mean, you really can't nitpick this shit. For one, I'm no expert in the field, but for two, everything looks fantastic. I mean, come on, it's a Spider-Man movie. It's a Marvel movie. This is it's very expensive stuff, you know? They're not gonna make it look stupid. It's as simple as that. This movie looked fucking awesome. And Spider-Man obviously swinging through streets and cities and shit like that. That's just some of my favorite cinematic experiences ever, and this one definitely didn't let me down, and it had like an assortment of different suits and stuff going on, which was kind of cool, especially for like if you're a fan of particular suits and everything. Like the Homecoming one comes back for a second. They've got the stealth one in there that's cool. The variations and stuff, it kind of kept you on your toes and everything. They're not boring with the amount of suits that they're going on, you know? Like in the original Sam Raimi trilogy, he's really got the one suit until 3 where he's got the black one for a bit. But other than that, it's just the one. Tom Holland's been through a fucking crazy amount of suits in just the, couple movies that he's appeared in, which is cool. Something else that Far From Home did really well was alluding to Peter Parker kind of becoming the next Tony Stark. There was this one really touching scene where he's in the jet with Happy and he plays some AC/DC music and Peter Parker's just like going through the what's it called, holograms, the holographic suit stuff as he's designing a new Spider-Man suit, and it was very similar to things that we saw Tony Stark doing throughout the franchise. And it was kind of like just this nice moment where Happy looks at him, smiles because it reminds him of his friend, and yeah, that was just kind of cool. And you could see a lot of parallels going on where Peter Parker's becoming a man, and you see this through some of the choices that he has to make, the directions that he's kind of going in. That aspect of the movie was relatable, so that was cool. I mean, something that Peter Parker absolutely has to have in a Spider-Man movie is relatability. He's got to be, the little guy. He's got to be us. He's got to represent us, and that's something that Tom Holland's Peter Parker does very well in all of these movies. I've lost track of how many movies he's appeared in, but he's got his 2 movies that he stars in, and he does a really fantastic job there. I don't know who my favourite Spider-Man is. I'm not going to say for sure it's Tom Holland because Tobey Maguire is my soul Spider-Man. But Tom Holland is pretty damn awesome in the role as well. So yeah, Spider-Man Far From Home has enough variation in the action and the suits and everything that it really keeps you on your feet and everything. There's a lot of stuff going on. It's really cool. There's a lot of different aspects. The villain is awesome. He's one of the best Marvel Cinematic villains that we've seen, just behind Killmonger and the Vulture. Far From Home is action-packed. It's fun. It's just quirky enough to also be a little bit different from all the normal sort of superhero movies. It's definitely got its charms and quirks. It's definitely got the specific genre that it's going for. John Watts returned for this movie, did a fantastic job kind of redoing what he'd done in Homecoming, but upping the stakes a little bit more and turning this into a really great continuation for the character. It was great to see Spider-Man kind of go explore in some different sort of locations and stuff. That was really interesting. Like him being out of New York was kind of surreal. It was kind of weird to see, but it was really cool. Like you wouldn't really expect that from a Spider-Man movie. Obviously we've known for months and months that that's what this movie was going to be, but like actually seeing it on screen for that long and everything, it was kind of interesting. And then that end scene where he's swinging through New York just really brought it back home. And that just had like this really strong like nostalgic kind of feel to it for me. And then he was swinging through with MJ and everything. It was just a really nice kind of moment that brought us back to, OG Spider-Man. As a fan of Spider-Man, a big fan of Spider-Man, I really enjoyed the hell out of that last little scene that we got. Yeah, so this isn't like a super structured video or whatever. I'm not sure if I really if I said every single thing that I wanted to say. I'll probably remember something in a bit when I'm editing and stuff and be like, fuck, I forgot to say that one thing. But as I am now, I just got out of the movie. I was really excited about it. I really just wanted to talk about it as soon as I possibly could, as soon as I got home. So here I am, just off the fly talking, what I thought. I loved Far From Home. I wouldn't say straight away that it's my favorite Spider-Man movie because, people really just throw those sorts of terms and everything very quickly. But with a movie like this, it's kind of fair to maybe think that, yeah, I could see this being somebody's favorite Spider-Man movie. For me, I don't think anything's going to top the original trilogy just because, that's my childhood and everything. But this is a very good movie. It's definitely on the higher end of the Spider-Man films. And, if you're not that big a Spider-Man fan and everything, I really just can't really see somebody disliking this movie. Even if you don't like superhero movies and stuff, like, this seems like it would be pretty universally enjoyed. That's from my perspective, though, being a big Spider-Man fan. But there's always exceptions. I'm sure there are people that will just fucking hate this. Yep, that's it. Spider-Man, it was pretty sick. I really liked it. Thwip thwip. That's not an easy sound to make. Just not natural. Thwip. Not natural at all. Anyway, Spider-Man. Bye.